Last year, when the Los Santos Tuners update came out for GT Online, I recorded some videos modifying the cars that came out, and never released them. So in this video today, we are going to be looking at 9 builds from 3 cars from the update. We have the ZR350, the Remus, and the RT3000. 3 builds from each. That's 9 builds in 9 minutes. Let's go. So for the first build, considering this car is a modern classic, I thought I'd go for a modern classic style. Something a little bit classy with a few modern modifying trends added in there. So whilst this car does have options for big spoilers and crazy exhausts, I'm going to use those in a build later on in this video. So I went for subtle bodywork styling, some sleepy eyes because pop-up headlights are always cool, and some wing-mounted wing mirrors as an ode to the fact it's a classic. For that modern classic look, I went for that split rim style wheel, and to top it all off, I painted it metallic brown, because nothing says classy like brown paint. Then I slammed it down to the ground, didn't do too much, didn't want to make it too crazy looking, just wanted that classy, minimalist, modern look. For the first RT3000 build, I wanted to go for something that was bright, chrome, flashy, in your face, but very exotic looking. And looking through the parts list of this, there are some really cool styles that we can do. This no bumper look you'll definitely be seeing later on in the video. So I went with the big vented bonnet because I think it looks flashy, and I coupled it with the speedster roof to give it that premium feel. I went for the iridescent headlight glass because I thought it gave that really cool modern glitzy look as well. Stuck on some massive multi-spoke wheels and then topped it off with some yellow paint. I also decreased the size of the wheels and even made them thinner because 1, I wanted less dish, and 2, I wanted the car to get even lower to the ground. And after that, I dialed in the stance, really slammed it down, gave it a bit of rear camber. It's not going to go anywhere, but it's going to look good doing it. And again, let me know what you think about these builds as we keep going through the video in the comment section below. So in the first Remus build, I wanted to go for a proper ratty drift car. So to get the look, I went for some riveted body parts, removed bumpers, and some massive diffusers. And again, this thing had some crazy exhaust options, so we might be seeing those in another build later on in the video. I put in some fancy carbon seats and a roll cage and discovered Rockstar did a boo-boo. So I had to dial it back a little bit and put in some smaller seats. To complete the look, I stuck on some TE37s and gave it matte black paint for that rough drift style. I also blackened out the wheels to go for a full blacked out look. As always, dialed in the stance and gave it some front wheel camber as it's supposed to be a drift car. And hey presto, a really awesome looking drift car. I actually am in love with this one, and actually there's some really cool builds to go on with the Remus later on in the video. So for the second ZR350 build, I wanted to go for something pink. I would say one for the ladies, but actually I would probably rock this myself. So I went for the Sakura livery and a beautiful pink paint. Anywhere that I could add the color pink, I did it. I put pink on the roll cage, I put pink on the interior details, and I also went pink on the wheels. Although, so I didn't color block it, I did do it in a different shade of pink. This didn't really need any fancy bodywork because really, the paint does the talking. And of course, using V-Stancer, I slammed it down to the ground and really dialed in the stance on this one. And honestly, I think this looks fantastic. I know I have done 2 show car style builds for this one so far, but just know that the final build for this will be a bit more race car inspired. So for build 5, knowing that I can take away bumpers, bonnet, wings and roof, I knew I had to do a stripped out battle car build. Naturally, I went for the matte desert tan. You just can't keep me away from that color. Then in V-Stancer, I made the wheels chunkier, bigger, wider, and jacked up the height, gave it these awesome yellow headlights, and then covered it in dirt to give it the full off-roader look. And there we have what I think is the coolest RT3000 build you're ever gonna see. Until maybe the one later on in the video, who knows. So for build 6, the first thing I did was stick on a set of smoothie wheels in red with chrome center caps. Also, to go with that retro style, I played around with the two-tone and I couldn't really get a color combo that I was feeling, So in the end, I just went for a bright blue across the car. Also, to add to the quirkiness of this one, I went for yellow headlights once again. On the bodywork, I went for something a bit more subtle. Also changed up the grille because I wanted to just have a little bit more of the blue on the front end. And again, it needed something a little else, so yeah, I went for white wall tires because, of course. On V-Stancer, I made the wheels much smaller because I wanted the car to go way lower. And then I tucked the wheels in and I slammed this thing to the ground. That plastic front bumper would probably just disintegrate as you went down the road. But I wanted to go for a cool, air-cooled, hot rod, Moon Eyes inspired version of this car because this is a Japanese tuner car and not the sort of car you would see in this style. So I gotta keep it unique. And I think it's unique. And just a little bit tagged on to the end, I thought I'd try out how it looks with a different exhaust tip. I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think of that one. Did that make it a bit too much or did that make it perfect? So because I already went for 2 show car style builds, I thought I would make this one a little bit more track inspired. So I started off with the blue paint, gold wheels, and a big spoiler. To keep this one interesting, I also went for the rear louvers just for a cool party piece. Tried out a few liveries as well, but wasn't really feeling it. Whilst I was feeling the blue gold theme that I had going on, when I changed the wheels up and made them bigger, I felt like it needed something a little brighter, so I went for a brighter blue. So in V-Stancer, I made the wheels smaller, I lowered it down, but not too crazy because it's supposed to be a race car. I just wanted to make sure that those wheels looked a little bit more usable. Out of the 3 builds, that's probably my least favorite because I don't really do builds like that too often. I'm really kind of torn between the first 2, but I might have to give it to the pink one just because it's just really fun. But I want you guys to let me know which of the ZR350 builds you prefer. For build 8, I wanted to go track inspired once again, so I've gone for big massive diffuser at the rear, I've gone for a big rear spoiler, gone for some very aggressive wings on the front as well, gone for a nice set of 6 spokes, didn't want to make them too crazy, too big. I think they're a nice fit. Also played around with the color a bit, was kind of thinking of going for a purple, and then I ultimately decided to go for a red just to make it a little bit more regular. And yeah, at the start of this build, I did think of going for time attack. Let's be honest, by the time I get to V-Stancer, my brain just goes foggy and I make big wheels and make stance because, well, yeah, I have a problem. So there's the 3rd and final build, all stripped out on the inside, lots of carbon, got all the race fuel tanks as well with the fuel inputs in the rear boot lid. Big spoiler, big diffusers, big race bumpers, big wheels. But I don't know, you guys can let me know in the comment section below what you think of that one and actually which one is your favorite RT3000 build. I think most of you guys are going to say the second one. I'm going to say the second one. That off-road build was just insane looking. So for the final Remus build, I decided to go for a 90s tuner look. So I've gone for some period correct body parts and some big massive 5-spoke wheels because I think they have quite a 90s vibe to them. I've gone for the stripped out interior because I think that's a cheap and easy way to make your car into a race car. And then for this one, I wanted to get a 2-tone that actually worked. In the previous build, we went for an all blue. In this one, I went for a white top and grey bottom. Again, I used V-Stancer a bit, but I really tried to tone it down with this one. I only wanted a simple drop to make it look a bit more 90s inspired. Sadly, Rockstar hadn't really thought about this one, and the front bumper didn't match. Was kind of annoyed by that one. Personally, if it wasn't for the fact that we had this weird thing with the front bumper, this probably would have been my favorite, as this is the sort of thing that I would like to do in real life. But I'm probably going to say that my favorite build is the second one, because I always just like seeing this sort of Moon Eyes, air-cooled inspired thing on cars that definitely shouldn't look like that. And so there we have it, 9 cars in actually just under 9 minutes. I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Tell me your favorite from each car and maybe just tell me your favorite overall in the comment section below. But that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.